Hey guys, it's Daniel Faust, or War Hero to Superhero Faust, in my War Hero to Superhero t-shirt, in a sense. It's not the branded t-shirt, but this is my War Hero t-shirt for my day job. So hope you guys are having a great week. It's about to be Memorial Day weekend, so we want to go over and do this final lesson for today. And more than likely, we're going to schedule a messenger room tomorrow, but we're going to see if you guys want to be in there. So when you guys see the messenger room tomorrow, please go put in there that you'll join. If not, then have a great weekend and have a great Memorial Day, celebrating our military veterans that went over and sacrificed their lives for that day. And hopefully you as patriots that go over and watch have a great Memorial Day weekend. So let's jump into our lesson today. Boardroom, teleworking or work part 4. Almost the entire nation is going back. All 50 states are opening up in some type of form or another. And the landscape because of coronavirus has changed our landscape. Pier 1 imports is closing. Other places are opening or reopening. Everybody's strategically trying to figure things out. The beaches in Delaware open tomorrow, but they're opening kind of staggered. We're doing 30% opens on things. So the landscape across the United States and the world has changed. Brookings.edu said that up to 50% of current jobs went to a teleworking model. Boom. And so did we for a long season. I'm still doing 40% telework in my day job. So, but most of us, especially us military and first responders, never thought we would be working in our garages and bedrooms and couches. So tonight, for our final topic in the boardroom, is we will discuss tips to help your physical and mental health to thrive. I used the wrong word, but you know what I mean. This was inspired by a FEMA article and Flex Jobs. If you're looking for the specific articles, we can send you there, and we are going to go jump right into it. First off, on the sense of physical stuff to go over and do to keep your well-being and going. And this comes from our FEMA list on 7 things to go over and do, because FEMA has a lot of people that are mobile and doing telework, and they are a great agency to go over and work with if that's what you're looking for to work with them. Is fidgeting is actually beneficial. There was a Mayo Clinic 2005 study that went over and showed that even if you fidgeted a little bit, even though mom's like, dad's like, stop fidgeting, stop moving, it actually went over and kept your metabolism up and kept you alert, and it also kept your weight down. So something to encourage you if you're going to do this teleworking job, or even if you're at work, as long as the fidgeting is not annoying your friends, which that's subjective, I would highly recommend to start fidgeting again. Maybe it's drinking water every 10 seconds. You never know. So that's one thing that can go over and help you with your physical health while you're doing telework. The second one is take frequent breaks. As my studies of 70 different jobs and 20 years of work and whatnot, the average person's already working 5.5 hours of actual productive work each and every day. And when we get home on the whole telework, we try to overcompensate sometimes. And the thing is that if it's not carrying for a person or a legacy, you're probably really exhausting yourself. And what's going to happen is you're going to get physically and mentally fatigued, and then you'll have burnout. And we have so many people operating on fumes that we highly recommend that you take frequent breaks. The average rule, even in instructional design, is every 45 minutes of content in the classroom, we take a 15-minute break. I would follow that same rule of thumb, is that maybe every 50 minutes you take a 5 or 10-minute break, getting away from the monitor for the eye strain, physically going over and moving. You don't want your joints to go wear out. You don't want to go over and get sores and other things in nature. So go over and take frequent breaks. So maybe you get a certain activity done, or get to a certain letter, or whatever you're sorting, or so many emails, or whatever you're doing, and take a quick break. As you're going over and taking these many breaks, one of the times that most of us go over and do at home is we raid the fridge. We just eat more because we're at home. When we're at work, we don't eat as much. You know, my office is completely isolated. If I have to go over and get food, I have to go out my siphon lock door. I have to go out another door. I have to go to the base exchange, or I have to go somewhere else. But when you're teleworking at home, it's easy to go over and to just eat and eat and eat and eat. And you take the food to your desk and everything else. And we want you to combat your pantry with healthy snacks, because that's going to go keep you going over and thriving, keeping that brain flow. Because even though it might sound that 5.5 hours is not enough work, if you have 5.5 hours of productive work and you made, let's say, 300, 500, 1,000, $10,000 in that time, is that productive? Yeah. So get some healthy snacks so you can keep that brain keep going. Also, if you have to take phone calls, a recommendation is stand for your calls. It goes over and burns more calories. Last I looked, it burned about 4 calories a minute. Goes over and keeps you more active. And even if you have an opportunity like ours, as our garage is converted to our office, that you can go over and walk around and maybe pace and go over and keep that going. Also, another thing is that when you're teleworking, you're not commuting anymore. You're not going anywhere. So if you're constantly staying at home and doing the work, how about you trade that commute time for exercise? So instead of going over and saving that 30 minutes to an hour that you've been doing for the past 6 to 8 weeks, how about you take those 30 minutes to an hour and go over and use that for exercise time? We most of the time try to go over and push our exercise time or delay it or not even happen. I've been choosing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday to go work out. I've chosen Monday and Friday to go by myself. I chose Wednesday and Sunday to go with my wife. So I can still get 2 days a week on my own and 2 weeks with a friend to go over and to work out. So trade your commute time maybe for exercise time. If you're already a morning person and you're up, you might as well go over and do that so you can bring those endorphins up. Next one is wire management. So if you're at home teleworking compared to a commuting place and whatnot, wire management is key. Why do I go over and say that? It's your home. Because you basically would have a tripping hazard. It can go over and get hurt. My wire management right now is beyond my desk. I push the wire as much as possible, but I still have to watch for my space heater because Delaware is hot and then it's cold, and then it's hot and then it's cold. So definitely wire management is key. If you can go over and get those wires behind the desk, go over, maybe bundle them up. Maybe you go find a special wrap or whatnot, or maybe you duct tape them down. That's key. You definitely don't want to go trip at home because when you're teleworking, they're probably not going to pay the medical bill. So you want to be extra cautious. Now at work, you should be doing the same thing because of safety and whatnot, but you're more likely going to get paid at work. And I'm not saying go trip at work. I'm just saying that it's already hard enough to deal with injuries as is. You don't want to be that guy that tripped over your cordless phone. You can't trip over a cordless phone. Well, you could if you left it on the floor. But anyway, old joke from the 80s. Last one is plan for mobile work. You don't, as you're teleworking nowadays with the internet, you don't have to stay home. You don't have to stay at the desk or at the couch or the bedroom in that particular regard. You can plan for mobile work. A lot of devices now and websites you can go over and take on an iPad, an iPod, a Droid, a tablet, a laptop, even sometimes smartwatches can do certain things, the calculations and whatnot, depending on how fancy a smartwatch is. So plan for some mobile work. It'll break the monotony and go over and actually keep you more physically healthy than getting that set at entry sitting at a desk. If you have a chance even to make it mobile, you have one of those ergonomic desks, that would be definitely key to go over and go from sitting to standing. That's a little more mobile work in a sense that, to do that, not just set at entry sitting at a desk. Now, let's go jump into the mental health tips side of the house, because we can get ourselves physically set up and logically set up and whatnot, and that's great. But the thing is that most of America and most military veterans and first responders, no matter if they're the war hero right now or they're the superhero in the future, we tend to go over and forget the mental health stuff. I'm not going to get too geeky into this right now. That's a different topic, different time. But a couple quick mental health tips, or wellness, if you want to call it that way. Number one, workplace room in your home. A lot of times, and this is recommended from FlexJobs, so you can go to flexjobs.com to go over and say how to maintain your, teleworking life. If we go over and make our bedrooms our workplace, then we don't have those lines work right, because our boardrooms should be separate from our living rooms. Our living rooms should be separate from our bedrooms. As we talk about each week, is that you don't want those lines to go over into blur. They're going to in some regard, But literally, you don't want to go over and do that. It's not good mental health because you won't know when to stop the lines. If you're working in your bedroom on a regular basis, you won't know when to go over and say when the workday is done. Vice versa, that if you go over and have it out, let's say in the garage or in a separate room or outside in an awning or whatever it is, you know when the line is done. You cross that threshold. It is a mental point of saying, like when I leave the garage, it's a whole different life. When I used to do my lives in the closet, when I left the closet, it was a whole different life. I transitioned that threshold from the closet to the bedroom or from the garage to the living room, and that makes a drastic difference. So go over and define those lines. Now, you might have a really small place. You might just need to have a zone. Maybe you put down a piece of tape or whatever it is, or there's a certain configuration you make to make the house for the workday, and then you change it back for the rest of the day. You got to make that mental shift. That's going to keep you better, especially when you're working at home or if you decide to actually work at home. So if you're doing this for a season and you're going back, it'll be a lot easier. But if you're going to do this and you think this is worthwhile, you got to have those physical and mental transitions to go over and to thrive. Next one, don't forget to socialize. We think because we're teleworking and we're connecting with so many people on the phone and email and instant message and things of that nature that we had a lot of fun time of socializing. We need to get out there. Now, COVID-19, we know we have to go over and be safe. So maybe you have a separate device that you go over and connect to people, maybe on a Zoom party. Maybe you go over and like the TEDx people, they do a sing-along on, was it a Saturday or Sunday? Maybe you go over and get some outdoor time. Maybe you go over and now that the beaches are opening, you get out and go do that. Socialize. Now, obviously, you want to keep your social distance with people that you don't know, but the friends that you did have or the friends that you're building, you need to socialize in some type of capacity. And it would be highly recommended that you go over and do that. So whatever way works for you. The next one is take care of yourself. So on the mental health realm, a lot of things that we go over and skip, and this kind of goes on the physical side too, it was exercise and breaks and get outdoor and good sleep. And here's the one that's probably going to creep you out, but this needs to happen. Only have sleep and sex in the bedroom. When we go over and take the bedroom and we add other things that are not S's and we add work and food and all these other craziest things, you don't go over and thrive well. You think you do, but you don't. Even people that go over, and this is a habit that I need to go over and break, is get the phone away. Once the military job is done, I will not have the phone in the bedroom. I'm going to put it in a separate room and get an old school alarm clock because those are only two things that should be happening is sleep and sex. We know there's TV and other things in the rooms, and we know it's easy to go over and binge watch on those things, but I know for myself, my sleep sucks. And when I actually get away and just do those two things in the bedroom, it's actually better in the long term. So only have sleep and sex in the bedroom as much as possible. And lastly, and certainly not least, is seek help early and regularly. So if you're stressing out from telework and you're not getting recharge and whatnot, you need to have those caveats for your mental health. Having a good friend network, having a good family network, having a good chaplain or a coach or a consultant or a counselor, because we do consulting, but it doesn't matter where you go to as long as you find those resources early and regularly. A lot of times, the same thing in our physical health. We wait. And veterans are worse and first responders are worse than most other places, is that we wait until everything hits the fan. Wrong. The war hero, the superhero, transforms their lives by going over and doing things early and regularly so they can go over and thrive. You can grind out for a while, but you can go over and thrive for a long time if you go over and take care of things regularly. That's how cars go over and last. That's how computers. Everything that we're doing at work, we're trying to make things for longevity and legacy, but we don't do it for ourselves. So seek help early and regularly. When you're getting stressed out, have those conduits, friends, family, chaplains, coach, consultant, counselor. So here's a couple questions that we want to go ask you to challenge you to gamify this day in this podcast / Facebook Live is what's your current physical or mental score? If you're at a 1, it equals to your dying. You're pretty much on the last string. And if you're a 10, you are thriving. So where do you go over and sit? Because you have to know that before you jump into telework. So if this is an option for you to go to telework and for long term, you have to know your current score now. Because if you're like a 7 and above, you're doing really well, and teleworking would probably work for you because you already had those habits to begin with. Now you just need to translate them into the telework. If you're usually 6 and below, you don't have those things and you're just running on fumes. And if you're at a 1, it highly wouldn't be recommended to go to telework. And you think that, like, I don't interact with anybody. You do. I was just talking about my son. He's like, I told him he did better in school compared to doing online school. So that's his version of telework. And he's like, oh, I was all alone. I'm like, no, you had people around you. You got some energy. You had accountability. You do better in this realm. It's the same thing for telework. If you have a high score, physical and mental score, and telework is going to be easier for you because you already have those habits built. But if you have a lower score, then you're going to then get to the home front and not have those things. And then you're going to get more stressed out. And lastly, our last question is, what is your preventative maintenance plan for your health and wellness? Do you already have that set in place? Because that's key. If you're going to be teleworking, you're not going to have those human interactions come to you. You're going to have to go pursue those human interactions. You're going to have to go over and pursue those relationships. When you're in a place that's in a public place, it naturally happens over time. You have to talk to somebody to go to an office or do certain things. And then you might have a connection point, and then you go and do that. And they say, hey, maybe you want to go out or whatever. You have this natural connection, and someone invites you. You're doing telework, you're usually working on the job. And unless somehow you orchestrate that in your life, you could be days, weeks, or months before you do anything for your health and your wellness. So what is your preventive maintenance plan? And our superhero challenge to you for this week is, everybody's going to be starting tomorrow, especially Delaware, and any place that has a beach, around 8 a.m. I want you to take this long weekend to relax. Just relax so that you can plan accordingly for the next step in your career. Memorial Day is the start of basically summer, and things start getting really amped up, and you're going to see that in certain businesses and whatnot. If you're not working in the retail industry and at the beaches and everything else in those places, take this time to relax. And if you are working in those places as military veterans and first responders in the transformation process, take tonight to recharge and relax, because things are going to be hopping and booming really, really quick. And then take that moment when the weekend ends, either on the work front or on the relax front, and plan accordingly for this next step in career. Now, if you're going over and need some help to go over that, we'd love to go and help you. We give 20 minutes free to every military veteran and first responder. And as our ticker is coming up right now, we wanted to go invite you again that if you are a military veteran and first responder, or you're a watcher of the War Hero to Superhero podcast / Facebook Live, we'd love to invite you to our virtual summit. It is next Friday and Saturday from 9 to 5. And if you just go to easywayliveevents.com and hit the referral code War Hero to Superhero, we'd love for you to go over and join. And it's totally free still. And if we get 1,000 registrants by the 30th of that day, and our slot is at 5 p.m. So we're one of the last slots. So watch us. We'd love to go over and have you there. If we get 1,000 registrants, I will send one of you $250 cash on a Visa gift card. But I got to have 1,000 registrants. So we'll get you the numbers next week, and we'll tell you how close we are. So share this out to your friends, share this out to your family, go over and register. If you want to take your brick and mortar and make it a digital broadcasting booming type environment, you want to connect with me and several people on there, like from Sharon Lecter, Think and Grow Rich, going over and connecting with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We have one of the actors from Terminator 3. We have people that are from influential businesses and also app development and whatnot. If you want to take your business to the next level and transform from this COVID-19 world to the real Ready Player One world, go over to this virtual summit, and just go to easywayliveevents.com, hit the referral code War Hero to Superhero. And once we get to 1,000 registrants under that referral code, we'll send one of you a $250 gift card. So I want to thank you guys for going over and joining. We will post tomorrow our messenger room. We'd love for you to go over and join. Please, if you're going to join, message that you will be joining. We only host this room for you for Q&A for the boardroom. So we want to be there. But if you guys are just busy for the Memorial Day weekend, we'd love to go over and take that time back for our families. So we'll post up the message room. If you're interested, go post it. We will make the time available to you. If not, then have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we will see you next week in our super interviewing three amazing veterans and one honorary war hero to superhero. And if you want to know more about how that works to get interviewed on the show, go over and direct message me. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.